Hey, MVPs, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about UFC Fight Night. It was in Doha, Qatar. It was Armin Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker in the main event. Before we get into all the results and my assessment of the fighters, because that's what this result show is for, I do want to show you the chart for the fourth fight card in a row. The fourth one in a row, we have hit all of our locks. We are 100% on locks, 4 fights in a row. It's a good feeling. It means you're going to hit your parlay as well. And that's exactly what happened tonight. We hit all 3 parlays, the lock parlay, the leans parlay, and the lottery ticket or value bet parlay. Shout out to the MVPs. If you're an MVP on the channel and you're only here for college football, I need you to understand fights are every single Saturday, just like college football. They are about 6 hours long, just like 2 games of football. This is it, man. This is where you're going to make your money. We do this all year. I don't know what you guys are doing. You run to basketball, you run to baseball, and you go lose your money on a bunch of bullshit when you could be sitting here and just eating for free every single week. I say for free, but, I mean, this isn't a lie. Our locks are 74%. Rico, what's the big deal? You hit a minus 250. You hit a minus 1450. Like, no, you're not listening. It's about getting the fights right because that's all that matters in the UFC is were you right or were you wrong? All right? Yes, there's some red, but that's not what really matters because we didn't parlay those guys. We don't believe in some of those fights. Some of those fights are no-bet fights or value bet fights. That's not the same as me telling you take this straight across and get your ROI and make your money. MVPs know what I'm talking about. By the way, 6-2 on the method. For those of you thinking the money line's too easy, well, how about the method? TKO and points, points by sub, double chance TKO and points, TKO and sub, not going the distance, double chance points and sub. All those methods were correct. That pays way better than the money line. So you can go do that as well. We missed 2 methods only, and those were 2 money lines we missed, and we'll talk about it, okay? But nonetheless, on the card went 9-5. That doesn't matter. That's an amazing night for us if you're following the channel and watching the videos. Shout out to the MVPs. Let's go talk about these fighters. We can break down what we saw and what we were talking about. So the first fight of the night was Marek Buljo versus Denzel Freeman. I told you guys before this fight, I told you a story about how I took my father to New York for the first time. And if we were walking around in New York and it was crowded in Manhattan, if I had bumped into a hot dog vendor, a dude selling hot dogs, or if I had bumped into one of these pizza dudes and beat him up, that would be my record. Like, I would be undefeated. That's who Marek Buljo is fighting. This dude from Poland is fighting guys that probably should have migrated to New York. Their name should have been Tony to New York, Tony. Like that's who he's fought on tape. Just bums after bum. And when he got in the cage, that's exactly what we saw. We saw a guy who obviously has a 6-0 record beating up cab drivers. You didn't get here on time, and he beat you up. And he goes, "Yo, I'm undefeated." Who have you beat up? Oh, all the Lyft drivers, all the Uber drivers. This guy's a jiu-jitsu nerd who's afraid to go actually and strike. And when you're a jiu-jitsu fighter, and they told me he's a multiple-time Polish jiu-jitsu fighter. How many people are doing jiu-jitsu in Poland? I'd love to know. I couldn't imagine you're driving around in Poland and you look around and you go, "Yo, there's a joint. Hey, they're training jiu-jitsu in there." It's 4 dudes. It's 4 dudes. And 3 of them got part-time jobs. And then this dude, he came in here with no ability to fight, can't strike, can't wrestle, so he can't get a takedown and even utilize his jiu-jitsu. That's a terrible fighter. On the other side, Denzel Freeman, you're the LFA champ. Go back to the LFA, bro. You look like Patchy Mix to me. This dude looked terrible. They told me he's an Olympic-level wrestler, Olympic-level grappler. He trains with Olympic boxers. Well, I got news for you. I think Olympics, is that the name of the brand of the clothes he's wearing? The only thing I've ever seen Olympic from this guy is stalling. That motherfucker, the first round, he just jumped around a little bit. He was hopping around, and I thought, hey, maybe there's hot sand. They're fighting in the desert. They're fighting in Qatar. Maybe there's hot sand in the octagon, and it's just burning his feet because he can't keep his feet still. He just kept moving his feet over and over and over, which I really don't like. I don't want you to be flat-footed, but he looked weird, and he wasn't throwing anything. He wasn't banging. He wasn't taking nobody's lunch money. He was doing nothing. Then he goes to his corner. I don't know what advice he got from the corner, but he came out in the second round and he started making kung fu sounds. The whole round, he was just like, hoo, ha, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Maybe it wasn't kung fu sound. Maybe it was some tribal shit going on, but it sure as hell wasn't fighting. He was just making random sounds the whole fight. I didn't know what the fuck I was watching, but he won the fight. And we were right. And for them to say he won the fight 29-28 is wild to me because I have no idea what round this Bujo guy won. But both of these dudes, if they were on Contender Series, they would have gotten no contract and we'd never hear from them again. Absolutely abysmal performance by the two of them. Next fight. Next fight is Nurullo Aliyev versus Shamrock. Shamrock, I know that's not your God-given name. I just know there's not. It can't be. Shamrock fought like he's dumb as a rock. This English fighter, sure, they had English dudes in the booth tonight. They're all speaking in their British bullshit, talking about tea. I'll let you know, man, I still got beef with England. We went to war with them cats to get freedom. I still got beef with them, bro. It's only been a couple hundred years. I don't get down with you like that. And I don't like Germans either. Shout out to North Korea. If we fought you in a war, I got beef with you. I was in the army over 20 years. It's what I do. It's my whole life. So anyways, until I got to this point, right? I told you guys going into this fight, Nurullo Aliyev is a crotch-sniffing loser. Crotch-sniffing wrestler all day long. And this guy Shamrock is actually a grappler who's pretending to be a striker. So now, here's what they do. In preparation for this fight, Nurullo Aliyev is undefeated, 11-0 from some beef jerky country. One of them stands. And this dude probably got talked to by the UFC. And they said, look, if you come out and you do that bullshit wrestling, we're going to cut you and send your ass to PFL. Don't be doing that wrestling around here. And on the other side, Shamrock, they told him, hey, bro, you don't need to go in there and grapple. Go in there and strike. Beat him up. Be a dynamic striker. That guy can't punch. All he does is grab nutsacks. So there's one guy out here that's going to sniff crotches and wrestle, and then you show up. You're a grappler, but we want you to strike. We want to see two grapplers start striking. What a recipe for disaster that is. Like, it's terrible. So what do we see in this fight? Shamrock, fundamentally, is a terrible fighter. He does not protect the right side of his face, and it's just crazy to me. Crazy. You know, if you were beating up a kid or something, and you were doing something and you just slap him in the face, I don't know, you just be doing something and slap him in the face. Or maybe like you're in the gym and you're holding mitts, and you're telling them to throw their combos. And I would be like, yeah, throw a one. You call out numbers. If you're holding the mitts, usually you call out a number. And the kid will throw a combo. And if he doesn't protect his face properly, or protect his jawline, doesn't bring his hands back to his face, I'll smack him with the pad. All right? As a martial arts instructor, I'll smack you with the pad. Teach you how to protect yourself at all times. So if you throw out your jab and don't bring it back to your face, you throw it out there and leave it out there too long, I'm coming over the top. Boom. Well, let me tell you Shamrock. Shamrock, for whatever reason, when he shells up to defend himself, he brings both hands up, but not really. Like, one hand is here to protect something. This hand is just out here like this. It was like an open sesame to his face. You just beat the shit out of his meat, right? You just beat him. Just beat him. Beat him. Throw your left. It's going to connect all day long. This Nurullo dude comes out, and he's like, yo, I'm not a striker, but that dude is terrible. And I'm just going to start beating him up. It was a wrap. He beat him the hell up the whole fight, pounding him with striking. And this is still a nut grabber. This is still a crotch sniffer. And now Aliyev looks like the ultimate fighter. I'm just going to tell you guys, be careful with your assessment of this kid. He dominated this fight. He won 30-27. He's not a striker. That you land that many open strikes and you don't knock somebody out, that means you're not throwing with bad intentions, or you have pillows for fists. So I don't believe in Nurullo Aliyev's power. He's still just a one-dimensional wrestler, and there's no reason you shouldn't have gotten this guy out of there. And then Shamrock on the other side, he's from Liverpool. It's a tough place to grow up and be. Whatever, bro. Go eat beans for breakfast and go back to Liverpool. You suck, bro. Next fight. Ismail Nuradiv versus Ryan Loder. The first thing I said in this fight is Ismail Nuradiv comes out to bang in the first round. He's going to throw crisp strikes. He's got a fighter's chance in the first round. But if we can get past the first round and he loses the sting on his punches, Ryan Loder should be able to out-wrestle him and break him off with cardio and win this fight. So I took Ryan Loder in an underdog spot. And all that shit I just said didn't matter because Ryan Loder did not make it out of the first round. He couldn't get away from the power striking of Ismail Nuradiv. Nuradiv, he's got a man bun, number one, which is... Nuradiv fights exactly like I thought he would. He came out and he throws really hard in the first round. And if he connects and cracks, you're done. You're out. but you got to make it through that. And I guess we just can't trust non-strikers to survive that beatdown. Remember, this makes the Iron Turtle look really good. The Iron Turtle Korean fighter, that dude survived those strikes and then broke this man in the second and third round. So when I look at Ryan Loder, I think the UFC did a really good job of highlighting one of these regional fighters from that area. Just like the Canadian cards, when they give them a good opponent that they can beat, they give all the Canadian fighters a chance to win something. So they give them, or go to Brazil, they give all the Brazilian fighters a chance to win. In this particular case, Ismail Nuradiv, they gave him a guy that had no chance at beating him. And that's shout out to the matchmakers, and it's my fault for not catching it or actually believing in an American on foreign soil. The only person to ever lose in the Middle East, Ryan Loder. The only American to ever lose in the Middle East, Ryan Loder. Because I know I went to the Middle East, so I came out victorious. I'm just saying. Next fight. Bekzat Alkaman, whatever, against Alexandre Topuria. The last time we saw Topuria in the cage, he didn't redline himself. He fought very defensively responsible, extremely physically strong, but he was boring, and he wasn't quite out there to go show out and do his thing. You saw a noticeable gap in fighting from the earlier prelim fights and then this one. And what that tells me is these fighters didn't belong in the early prelim card. These are main card fighters. Like, they have real skill sets and really good fighters. Okay? They do everything right. And usually you can see when a guy isn't doing the right thing. These guys do everything right fighting-wise. Now, Bekzat has a puncher's chance to win every single fight. He hits really hard. He comes out to bang. He's in shape. He's going to do his thing. What happened here? Well, he got taken down. Topuria had a wrestling advantage. He used it. He got the takedown. And once you get taken down, when you get back up to your feet, if I don't see that same bouncing your step, that same crisping your strikes, then I know you used a bunch of muscles you're not used to using. That's all it is. So Bekzat is a striker, not a wrestler, and he's not used to striking after he's been wrestling. You know, in the Army, we would do these PT tests, and you do physical fitness tests, and you have to do 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and then 2 minutes of running. Or not 2 minutes of running, 2 miles of a run. And we used to have the soldiers go out and run all the time. They would be working on their run. They would run, and they would come back to me. Oh, I ran 13 minutes. Oh, I ran this for 2 miles, right? They're running 6-minute miles, 7-minute miles, whatever they're running. And then when the test came, they weren't running as fast as they were in training. They were off by like a minute or two. And they said, well, what's the problem? You know, I was a sergeant at the time. They said, what do you think our problem is? And I said, I'm going to tell you what your problem is. I said, you don't train like you fight. And what I was referring to is you go out there and you go train every day. You go run and run and run all you want. But that's not what you're doing on the test. On the test, you actually have to run after doing 100 sit-ups. So I want you to get down on the ground before every single run day, and I want you to do 2 minutes of sit-ups. Hard. 2 minutes hard, and you will blow out your hip flexors. If you're not using your abs, you'll blow out your hip flexors, and now I want you to go run. And now your legs feel like jello. And now you can't really run the way you were running, but you could if you train that way. I think what Bekzat needs to do is train with grappling and then work on his striking. He's Chris Striker when he's fresh, but the minute he grapples, his striking is shit. So if he's fighting anybody with a wrestling acumen, Bekzat's not going to win the fight because he's going to have to knock him out before there's any grappling involved. And at this weight class, there aren't really a lot of knockouts, one-punch knockouts or anything like that. Bantamweight, you're so small. These little dudes are so small and energetic. They can move around and stuff. You're not sleeping somebody in the first minute or so. So you're going to have to be a battle of attrition. And I think what they need to do for Bekzat is dial it back a bit. They've been giving him fighters that are way too good, and then when they give him a bum, he walks right through him, and then they give him a fighter that's too good. So they got to find out where he is on the totem pole in the UFC, and we're gonna know with his next matchup. But he's not an elite fighter. He does have some pop in his punches, but if he gets wrestled and he fights somebody with wrestling acumen, you don't expect a knockout. He's gonna be struggling to either win the fight by points, or you better hope he gets a knockout before the wrestling, or you fade him. But he's not a bad fighter. Technically, good fighter, but has a hole in his game. By the way, Alexandre Topuria, super strong. Got a head and arm in this thing and did like a hip toss. There's no way you get that takedown with a head and arm unless you're incredibly strong. And he was. So that's a weightlifting monster right there. Defensively sound fighter and knows how to wrestle. Good stuff. Next fight. I asked the MVPs during the live stream on this one, hey, what would you do for for a Klondike bar. No, what would you do for 40K, bro? There's no reason that these guys should be in this fight like this, because you'll be in a world of hurt. Rafael Sequeira is not a real fighter. Rafael Sequeira is a Instagram model or something like a fitness influencer who lied about his record. He beat up a bunch of cab drivers in Brazil, and the UFC said, "Yo, that guy's 11 and I think he was 11-2 at the time." They said he's 11-2. Bring him to the UFC. Maybe 11-1 or something. I don't know what he was. He lost this fight without throwing a single punch. You and I could do what he did. And shout out to this Yakhmanov guy, this Yakahev guy, Abdul Rahman Yakhmanov dude. A-R-Y. I'm going to say A-R-Y. A-R-Y has fought now twice, and it's been over in 30 seconds or less. This guy was a minus 3,000. No one in the right mind should be a minus 3,000. No one. Like, if I was fighting a woman tomorrow, she shouldn't be a minus 3,000. She just shouldn't. That's a crazy number. You got to bet $3,000 to win 100. You're not doing it. You should. It's a free $100 because that guy came out here and did exactly what you expected for him to do. Number one, he threw a spinning back kick with accuracy. Then he just went, okay, that one missed. I'm just going to go in there and punch. And he just obliterated this man. No respect for him whatsoever. Not defensively sound and moving and let's figure this shit out real quick. No, I've seen more respect in a street fight between two drunk people. Just being aware of somebody's ability to strike. This man was fearless. This man was absolutely fearless. Went in there, beat the shit out of this man. And it was over in less than 33 seconds. And it was a submission. It was a club and sub. He could have knocked him out. He could do whatever he wanted to do. What an impressive performance. I don't know what kind of adversity he's going to get, but I can tell you this. UFC, stop fucking around. Give him a real fighter on American soil or somewhere else. Like, they just keep only giving him scrubs in a foreign country or brought him to Dana White Contender Series. Give me a real fighter for this dude so I can assess his skill set longer than 30 seconds. Oh, man, longer than 30 seconds. Shout out to Asu Amabayev beating Alex Perez. Alex Perez is a good fighter. You know, he's had injuries in his career. He was ranked going into this fight. But the reality is, and I hate to say this to people, is Asu Amabayev is 23-3. That means he knows how to win fights. He's going to win fights versus Alex Perez, who's 25-10. Alex Perez, good fighter, but he's only winning 65% of the time. That's not going to cut it. He's winning 60% of the time, excuse me. Right? Times 4? Yeah, 40. He would have 40 losses, 100 wins, 40 losses. Oh, I did my math wrong. No, I was right. 60% of the time, 66%, a little more than 66% of the time. My point I'm trying to make here is Asu Amabayev finds ways to win. Now, in this particular fight, Asu not winning the fight. Initially, Alex Perez just came out, put more pressure on him, kept going forward, but he had some fundamental flaws. Head down, just throwing a bunch of nothing and putting it out there. Not really banging, but he was outworking Asu Amabayev, and I thought Amabayev was down 2 rounds. Amabayev snatches up a guillotine, standing, and climbs up this man's body like a damn spider monkey. Shout out to Coaches and these guys watching it on the Discord server. They're like, yo, Spider-Man this joint. That's awesome. I want to tell you guys, be careful. Asu Amabayev has a huge hole in his game, and that is he's not a great striker. Even though they look like crisp strikes, for whatever reason, he doesn't have the accuracy. And I think the reason you don't land your strikes, I know, is because you're afraid of what's coming back at you, and you're not willing to stand in the pocket and bang. So you throw with fear, and you don't really get in that phone booth with the guy. And the mark of a champion is the willingness to close with the enemy. You got to be in striking range to land strikes. So when you're outside of striking range, you're just a little hesitant to really make it bang. Asu Amabayev is not a great striker. He's a good wrestler, and I think he's in good shape. He's durable. You got to be careful because who are they going to give him next? This is flyweights. These are smallest motherfuckers alive. There's some other flyweights out here, and if they try to give Asu Amabayev this guy up here, who's this dude? If they try to give him this guy right here, Horiguchi, because they're on the same card and they want to give him the same amount of rest, Horiguchi's going to fuck him up something crazy. Okay? I'm just letting you know. That little dude, that little Bruce Lee, something else. So that's what you got to pay attention to. Same card, same weight class, same amount of rest. They pair them up later. I've seen it. I mean, I match the trends all the time. So I'm just letting you know. Asu Amabayev might be fighting Horiguchi first, and then the winner of that earns a shot at the belt or something. Anyways, next fight. Sagid is a Gabalakov against Nicholas Dalby. Something I talked about before this fight was there's no way I can make this Russian guy a lock. I saw everybody making him locks. I don't agree at all because he's never been a minus 350 fighter in his life. I've watched him fight multiple times, and I never thought, hey, that guy's a minus 350. Anytime I've seen him, he wins, but it's not 350. And then he's fighting Nicholas Dalby, and Dalby's not going to get outdogged. Dalby's a cardio monster. He's just going to go in there and work, and he had a game plan. And you want to talk about fight IQ, this man got in the clinch, as boring as it is, stomped on his feet and kneed him for a whole fucking 5 minutes just to gas out his arms. And then at that point, you can hear Islam in the corner going, yo, bro, you punch in our gym. Why aren't you punching here? Why aren't you hitting him? Well, you can't hit him because Dalby's in your face and gives you nowhere to hit. You can't hit somebody right here on top of you, bro. You can't do this. You're knocking on a door. You're not really punching. So Dalby took away any advantage you thought you had, and Dalby outdogged this dude straight up and wins the fight. I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised. I'm disappointed in myself for not believing in my initial assessment and taking Dalby. But I told you, this guy's a dog and you can't make the other guy a lock. Sometimes I won't win. I won't get the bet right, but I'll save you from making a mistake, and I'll save you a lot of money. People doing this, I bet people parlayed this kid all day because it was his debut. He's Russian. He trains in the Dagestani mountains. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. I don't believe in any of that shit. Nah, he didn't look good at all. We'll see what happens next, but he didn't look good at all. He can't, not against Dalby. Next fight, it's exactly what I thought it was, man. Bogdangrad versus Luke Riley. I took Luke Riley by TKO for this particular fight. And in the first round, I also told you Bogdangrad is the least talented UFC fighter on the roster. I think he's the least talented fighter on the roster. It's him and that Gus Gustav guy, the dude with the tattoo of like a sword or whatever. These both guys, they're both same fighters. They have no real skill set. And what I'm referring to is like Bogdangrad could go to a jiu-jitsu gym right now and get tapped out. And then he can go to a boxing gym and get beat up and knocked out. He'll lose in kickboxing sparring. He'll lose in all those gyms in an individual mixed martial art. He'll lose to everybody in every single gym because he has no refined skill set. He has no real talent in MMA. What Bogdangrad has is relentless cardio and muscular strength and endurance. He has strength. He has muscle. He's there. He's a dog. So in a fight like this, what you have to do is you have to go get a takedown, close the distance with the enemy. He'll do that all day. Shoot, get a takedown, and just grind out your opponent and beat the shit out of him. And I didn't think that Bogdangrad could do that for 3 rounds. And I was 100% right. Now, he did it for the first round. And at that point, I'm worried because I know Luke Riley has no wrestling. Luke Riley can't wrestle. He said he wrestles every day. Well, bro, you need to wrestle with better people, and you need to get better because the wrestling's not there. You're not getting back to your feet. You're not doing defensive wrestling, meaning stopping takedowns and staying on your feet. And you just, once you're on bottom, you're stuck there for the rest of the round. So that's terrible. And once people have that template on how to beat you, the blueprint, it's a wrap. So that's terrible, okay? But the next thing I'll say is this. Luke Riley can bang. He can throw them things. A lot more skilled striker. Now, I don't like the false sense of security and reality. The next time we see him on a fight card, they're probably going to make you pay for him because he's got the look, he's got the voice, he's got the mic and all this stuff. They're dying. The UFC is dying to have more accomplished British fighters. They want to be relevant in Europe. And the way to be relevant in Europe is England. Do a card in London, right? Have Michael Bispings of the world. They love Leon Edwards. They love these British champions, these British fighters, and they keep trying to find more. And when they find them, they market them. Paddy Pimblett, this guy. They're just constantly trying to get you to believe in Tom Aspinall and all the British fighters because it increases their global footprint. And that's what Luke Riley represents, is an opportunity to expand the global footprint, especially with knockout artists like Conor McGregor equivalents and stuff like that. I hear you. I don't think he's there. I think he's very young. He's got a lot more years to go, and he needs to get much better. Bogdangrad can't take you down and beat you up for a whole round and have me believe in you to that extent. Now, if he's fighting somebody, if the UFC matchmakers do the right thing, the Don King thing, they put him on a card and they pair him with another fighter, another striker, and then we'll be okay. But shout out to Luke Riley. If he's fighting another striker, he's going to win. If he's fighting a grappler, we'll see what the odds are. And can that guy strike or not? Next fight, Tagir Ulanbekov versus Horiguchi. man. Tagir's been winning fights. I thought he would win this fight. He has the length. He was the favorite. He's Russian. He can wrestle. We've seen him many, many times over. And then Horiguchi's coming back to the UFC after a run in the UFC. He was at the championship level. Remember, he fought Mighty Mouse in the championship 10 years ago. But since then, obviously, he went back to the regional scene. I never really believed in him like that. Then he got in the cage today, and he looked faster than all get out, bro. He looked like Bruce Lee. I said he looked like a fucking stinging bee. He was everywhere, and he looked like a complete martial artist. He was striking well, kicking well. He went to go get the finish on this joint. He was going to knock this man out, and then he got a rear naked choke. The reality, and he had to tell the ref, the guy's asleep, bro. I'm going to stop this. The thing about it is like he had a killer instinct. They came off the stool, and if you think you're going to be leaning forward and just kind of tired and going to go fight and be labored in your strikes, not with Horiguchi. He's in shape. He didn't want to hear that shit at all. He just went out there and cracked. I love that. He saw you leaning and labored over and all that. He said, fuck you, bro, and bang. And just started throwing them things. So shout out to him. Shout out to Horiguchi. He fought amazing. And Tagir, what a fake Russian. Next fight. Next fight. I had finished lunch. Shout out to Kim. She fed me lunch. And I needed to go use the bathroom. I said, man, I got to go take a shit. I'll catch you guys later, man. I'll let this fight happen. I already know these two fighters. And I go to use the bathroom. And I go to the other side of the house because I only use my bathroom in my master bedroom. So I go all the way to the other side of the house, use my bathroom. I finally get done. I come back over. I come upstairs. Kim's watching the fights outside of the studio, right? I'm in the studio right now. Kim's outside of the studio in the loft. We have a loft upstairs. She's sitting on the couch out there watching the fights. And as I'm walking up, I see it at commercial. And I go, oh, first round's over? Because that was a little fast. I didn't think the first round was over. And she goes, no, the fight's over. And I said, what? She goes, who did you have? Did you have the white guy or the black guy? And I'm thinking, there's no black guy in this fight. It's a Dominican. And it's a Bahrainian. So I said, oh, I was on the black guy. She goes, he knocked him out. And I was like, hell yeah. I was hoping it was still Waldo Cortez Acosta. I got to sit down, all the MVPs going, Rico knows, because this was a Rico knows pick for sure. Went ahead and looked, and the most insane thing just happened. South Carolina just scored in 14 seconds. Was it a pick six? Oh, my God. Shout out to South Carolina. Coastal's in for a world of hurt. But back to what I was saying. I don't need to see Waldo Cortez Acosta knock out this Shamil Gaziev dude. Gaziev's not a real fighter. Gaziev is not real by any means. Oh, it was the first play from scrimmage. All right, it was a pass. Gone. Just a screen. Too much juice. Anywho, Waldo Cortez Acosta punches too hard. He's a good fighter, protects himself, goes out there to bang, and I'm glad he won by knockout. I'm sorry I missed it. There was 2 knockdowns. I just see this right now. 2 knockdowns. I missed it, bro. I missed it. You guys are going to have to tell me. I was already dialed in and got it right 100%. Shout out to Kim, though. She didn't miss it. Next fight. I hated this one, and I overanalyzed, and I feel bad because Mayatek Oribal, we've never, ever faded Mayatek Oribal in 2 years. He's been one of my favorite fighters, and I faded him in this fight because I thought Jack Hermanson had a bigger size advantage. Jack Hermanson has a better fight strategy involved here. I thought he could go out there and do his thing. And when you watch the fight, there was a massive size advantage, and Jack could do what I expected him to do, which is throw jabs and kind of move around. Bro, he caught a glancing blow to the side of his head. It was glancing. It wasn't even flush. And he went to sleep. And that's because once you get knocked out, it's just going to happen, right? So he got knocked out a couple months ago, and he still hasn't recovered from that knockout. And I just thought that Mayatek Oribal wouldn't knock him out. He's a wrestler, but Oribal had the scouting report. We're not going to wrestle in this one. We're just going to go bang. We're just going to go throw. And we can outpunch this dude. I'm sorry, MVPs. I faded my favorite fighter. It was a value bet, so nobody should have been on it too heavy, but I understand if you were and if you believed in it. But I faded one of my favorite fighters, and I don't like that feeling. That sucks. Moving on. Next fight, lock of the night. I put it on every single parlay. I knew Alonzo Menefield has 0 chance of winning this fight. Volkan Ozdemir is defensively responsible, punches hard, moves well, uses all his weapons, and the thought and the idea of Alonzo Menefield is far better than the reality of Alonzo Menefield. And that was the reality of this fight. Just go out there, punches and bunches, put a bunch of shit in front of him. He don't know how to handle it, and knock him out with his feet standing. Less than a minute 30. I think all the locks finished in the first round. No sweats from every single lock tonight. Shout out to us. This was a big deal. We parlayed it 3 times. We took the money line. What a great place to be. Yes, there will be steak for dinner. Shout out to Volkan Ozdemir. And Alonzo Menifield's idea of being a knockout champ, I mean, it's just not real. Ian Machado Gary dominates Belal Muhammad. We knew this was coming as well. We took the fight for what it was. Belal Muhammad is just not a very skilled fighter. He isn't. He's not a graceful striker. Can't implement his wrestling when he needs to. There's really nothing to him. I've never thought he was a good fighter, especially when I saw him getting his ass kicked by Leon Edwards in the first fight, and then they had that whole eye poke issue thing, and that saved him from getting absolutely obliterated. I don't like Belal Muhammad, so I'll never pick him because I don't like him. You can like him, you can pick him if you want to, but every time I assess him, I'm going to tell you he's a bitch, he ain't shit, and I don't believe in him. What's up? That's real. I don't care. Like, that's how I feel. Ian Machado Gary knows how to control spacing really well. I think he strikes well. Does not throw with bad intentions, but he understands the art game and the fight game. Did defend takedowns really well. Belal went 0 for 7 in takedowns in this fight. He had no business calling out other people, champions, Islam, or whatever. Like, I get it. You're trying to get paid. He did a whole promo. I'm not impressed with none of that. In the cage, I'm glad we got it right. Moving on. Main event. Told you there's no way Dan Hooker can win this fight, so Arman Tsarukyan wins by submission in the second round. It wasn't much. I mean, the odds were what they were. Tsarukyan's a good fighter. Do I think he's elite? No. Is he better than Dan Hooker? Yes. I guess he is elite, but whoever he fights next, I can't pick him. He's going to fight Topuria. Topuria's going to just crack him, bro. Just crack him. I think Topuria will knock him out. I really do. I don't care what anybody says. That's what I'm thinking. And Dan Hooker, he's a good striker, but he can't be in there with these guys. Can't be in there with the neckbeard dudes. Anybody from the Caucasus Mountains or wherever Armenia is, shout out to them. But yeah, Arman Tsarukyan can fight though. He's fine. He's just, there's nobody else left to fight. So you're just going to go lose your next fight. That's all you can do. You win a bunch, you beat a bunch of guys. I wouldn't be calling out the champ. I'd be calling about all these other guys that can fight and win. I want to keep winning. But they all want their money. So, hey, that's the whole fight card. Shout out to you guys. I hope you guys won. I know the MVPs did. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. See you guys next time. Go on.